This is David Gross with Condi Systems here to do another one of my 101 sublimation tips and tricks for the road to sublimation success. Today we're going to talk about tip number 13. Now tip number 13 refers to the waste ink tank on many Epson printers and Ricoh printers. I'm going to show you how in most cases you can recycle your tank. Essentially there are two kinds of printers we're going to be talking about. Those that have a removable tank. This tank is for the 4000 series printers at Epson, like the 4000, the 4800, 4880. It also goes in the 7800, 7880, 9800, 9880 printers. This tank is for the GX7000, the Ricoh. This is for the GX5050 Ricoh, and this is for the GXE3300. And I'm going to show you what your options are. There are also other smaller Epson printers like the 1280, like the 1400 and the C88, those kinds of printers, that there is no removable tank. But when the tank gets full, we can reset the printer with software. So first we're going to cover these tanks here. Now, in the case of an Epson 4000, 4800, 4880 printer here, this is reset using a chip resetter. This is a CR40. It's a chip resetter for the waste ink tanks for Epson 4000, 7000, 9000 series printers. I'll show you generally what it is. It's a little handheld gizmo. Has two rows of pins, a row of 4 pins and a row of 3 pins, and a little LED. And what we do is we marry this against the electronic chip on the tank, and we hold it there. The LED will begin to flash red, and after about 3 seconds we expect it to turn green, meaning the tank is reset. Now what we're going to do is we're going to touch it here, and again it's very easy, but you do need to have the pins lined up correctly. And then when we touch it, we're going to see this light start flashing, and then it turns green. That means the chip is reset. At that point, what we need to do is we need to pry this cover off, very easy, and then we'll pry the contents of this tank into a trash bag and then replace the contents with paper towels. As you can see the paper towels in here. We've replaced and recycled this many times. So doing this saves you frustration, time, and it ultimately saves you money because you can literally reset this tank forever. And so it's a great way to keep from throwing stuff away. All you're going to be doing is dumping the contents out. Now, let's move to the Ricohs. These two tanks here we're going to talk about, and they're both done the same way to recycle them. In the case of these, there's a screw on the top of these, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off this screw that's on the top. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pry this cover off. And if you'll note right here, you can see you got some wires. These are the wires that lead to the optical sensor that is right under here. And this sensor is looking straight down, and what it's seeing is it's seeing something black. And when it sees black, that means that it believes the tank is full. So it really can't see inside the tank, and it's not sure how much ink is in the tank, but when this sensor sees black, that means to it's the tank's full. And so what we need to do is pry this cover off, and what we're going to do is put a piece of white paper on top of where the sensor is looking, and then it believes, of course, that the tank is now empty. Okay, here's our cover off, and you can see the optical sensor right here. And where the sensor is looking is right here. Now this tank doesn't need to be reset, but I want to use it as an example. So what we would do is put a piece of white paper right there so that when the sensor looks down, it sees white. And then we're going to put it back together, snap it back together, and then it's ready to be put back in the tank. Okay. Now, after you put it in, the printer is going to still say that the waste tank needs to be replaced. So what you're going to do is you're going to push the menu key, and then you're going to push the enter key, and you'll see system, push it again, and it'll say reset CU, push it twice, and then it's going to ask you to power off the printer. At that point in time, you're good to go, and you can continue to recycle the tank. Let's cover the not printers that do not have a replaceable tank. These are printers like the C88, the 1280, the 1400, the R1800, those kinds of printers. If you go to Condi.com and click on Support, and then click on Special Utilities, you're going to see two downloads there. One is for, we call it the SSEL, those are for like the C88, those kinds of printers, and the other is for the 1400 and R1800. Use those utilities to reset the printer. Now the message you're going to see displayed coming from the printer will be a message that says something like parts are near end of life, or parts are worn out, parts are need to be replaced. And this is not the time to throw the printer away. It's simply like a red light coming on your car indicating it's time for the oil change. And by doing this little software reset, you'll be able to continue to use the printer and get a whole lot more mileage out of it. So again, David Gross with Condi Systems here. Hope you've enjoyed this tip. If you have any feedback for me, please email me at dgross@condi.com. Until next time, thank you.